A little while back, we held an exciting webinar, which was all about how AI can help HR and L&D senior execs transform skills gaps into business. There was a lively debate. We had some interesting speakers. Nebel Crowhurst, who's a senior HR executive, Perry Timms, who's founder and chief energy officer of Perry Timms HR, and Carolyn Shepherd, who's founder and lead consultant of Emmeline AI. You can, of course, watch the whole replay at skillsassess.ai. But I just want to jump into one of those questions as I think you'll find it interesting. So let's get into it. On to our next question, which is where AI can support upskilling efforts and where it might damage credibility. So, Nebel, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'll get us started. I think for me, when I reflect on the volume of conversations that are taking place around AI right now, especially in the workplace and specifically in HR, is there seems to be a significant amount of fear and concern for what AI brings, whether that's because people are fearful of it, like we've just said, taking away jobs, or whether it's organisations that are fearful of employees doing something that might be to detriment of the organisation because they might use a tool like ChatGPT, for example, in a way that might be commercially damaging. But the way I look at it is it's just a natural progression and evolution in technology. So if we go back over the decades that we've all probably been in the workforce, it was 1998 that Google came in, and that was transformational. The fact that we could just have information at our fingertips whenever we wanted it. And initially that probably felt a bit strange, a bit scary. People weren't quite used to how to use it or how to use it effectively. And then we move forward and the sort of social media movement comes in around 2004, which is when Facebook comes to life. And since then, the progression of other social media platforms and, TikTok's coming around 2016, and that's continued to grow. And if we reflect back on those things happening, I think there was a lot of panic in organisations then as well. I think for a lot of HR people and business leaders, there was this need or thought that we had to put in place social media policies. We can't possibly allow people to post things on social media because we can't trust them because, of course, they're going to say something deeply concerning or commercially sensitive. And actually, as we progress to now, I think very few organisations would have stringent social media policies. They may still have some guidelines in place, but in fact, we encourage people to share their work life and the things that they experience on social media to be able to promote our great employee environments and our workspaces. And so as we move forward now, whilst of course we've got to think carefully about how we utilise new technologies and we have to be mindful of some of the risks that come with it, I think we need to counterbalance that somewhat and take away some of the kind of panic and fear, because this is something that is an evolution and it's going to continue. So what's meeting us now today in the world of AI and ChatGPT, there's going to be something else I would say 5 years, 10 years, but probably the next year, 2 years, because the speed and the pace of the evolution of technology is so fast. So I think that kind of landscape and thinking about things over the last few decades is just a starting point for us to consider where we're at and how we deal with this evolution in our work environments.
I've got vivid memories of talking to somebody who asked me if I'd heard of the internet. And then Google, as you said. And so it goes on faster and faster. I think with AI, we're going to see faster changes, as you said. And that's going to impact on HR and L&D.
I was thinking quite a lot about what you were saying there, Nebel, because in relation to a criticism that's often heard of L&D, that because of AI, their credibility can be affected if they start producing too much material. The volume is very easy to produce because of AI now. So credibility can be damaged, I think, with AI by using it too much, too often, perhaps, in terms of just spinning out lots of stuff. But where it's really fantastic, the opportunity, as I'm sure all know, is that it's actually providing you with a lot more opportunity to go deeper and to think more about some of the things we've just talked about or we've been listening to. For example, think about the ecosystem, think about the job that the person's doing, think about how that's evolving. Think about, how they need to find a personalized journey themselves and how can you help them do that? So I think there's lots of opportunities, but the risks are there. If you just keep doing what you've always done, you need to lift your head up and say, gosh, there's more of an opportunity here, really.
That's a perfect seg to what I was going to add, because you said about the sort of, that's how we've always done it kind of, ongoing mental models thing. the enemy here isn't whether technology will steal things or whatever. The enemy's orthodoxy. If we're so hooked in orthodoxy, that's where we're not going to evolve. So the reason we've got a challenge around certain things like skills and so on is because we're still dealing with the orthodoxy of what Nebel talked about on the whole job construct. Jobs, job descriptions, what on earth relevance do they have beyond the hiring process? Because I would never have looked at my job description and say that's what determines what I do each week. I'm in value chains, I'm in customer queries, I'm solving internal problems, I'm forging affiliations and liaisons with people. And I am just going, I don't know enough about that. I'm going to explore it and learn. We don't need those kinds of orthodoxies to hold us back. We've got to break out from those. So I'm kind of urging and underscoring here, if we think something's orthodox, that's risky. That's the risk. We've got to go unorthodox, experiment, emerge and evolve, because otherwise we're just going to be stuck in the same loop.
I think working from home as well, as Nebel said earlier, the fact that people now, they're more flexible, they're doing work in their own time, the whole pattern has changed. I think that's also had an influence on job descriptions. And I mean, I think generally people are becoming more entrepreneurial, more proactive, more imaginative. So there's a very big change, I think, through the fact that we can now use social media, online communications, etc. People are given much more scope to be inventive and creative and come up with ideas. So I think that will have a bigger impact as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.